Oh my gosh. Clog Zapper to the rescue. That's awesome. Okay, you guys, so it's Sunday now, and so I was in the ER Tuesday, and my tube was working just fine, and then my feed ran out because I was there so long, and I had trouble flushing it, but I got it flushed, and then by the time that I got home and I flushed it again, I couldn't flush it. I've been doing all the things, you know, back flushing it, and I only flush with hot water, so lots of hot water, and I tried carbonated. Like there's always this spot up here, like between the tube, like the distal end of the tube and the valve, that always gets clogged with feed. But I mean, I'm super aware of that, so I mean that part was already unclogged, so there's something else going on. But to complicate matters, in the middle of January, one of my other ER trips, I had a CT scan done of my abdomen, and we found that the distal end, internal distal end, was kinked. It was folded back on itself, and so we wonder if that's actually all the trouble that I've been having back flushing. And so I don't know if the tube is clogged or if it's flipped so bad at the end now that it's just non-functional. For a month now, I've been working with interventional radiology to get a new tube ordered, and we were supposed to have what's called an AMT tube. It's a new version of a tube at my hospital, so the size of this part of the tube, which is the same size of what's actually like goes in my abdomen, it's an 18 French, and you can see on the tube, you see how it says 18 FR right there, so it's an 18 French, and then the other 7 to 10 mils is what you can flush at one time, or the rate, I guess, that you can go like all the time. So anyways, the AMT, because I'm having so much trouble flushing it, and I've had some trouble draining my stomach since the lumens on the inside of the 18 French are about the same size, I talked to them about trying to get bigger, like a bigger tube. Obviously I didn't want a bigger like outer tube, but I didn't think there was any other option about it, and so they had a new manufacturer called AMT that they signed on with, and so I was supposed to get the first 18 French AMT tube, which it was still an 18 French here, but the lumens on the inside are supposed to be like 30 to 40% bigger, which should make clogging less of an issue, and then hopefully it'll make draining my stomach easier, which would be great. And then, so they were supposed to order the tube. It was gonna take a couple weeks in to get it in, and then they were gonna call to schedule the exchange. But they couldn't do it. Like 2 weeks later, the same girl called me, and she was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, like we can't get those tubes. It has to go through this whole analysis process, because they're so much more expensive than the other tubes. The other tubes are like a Vanos or something like that. I don't know the maker. And so she was worried that I was gonna be super mad at her, and it was just like, whatever, because they can get me a regular, they can get me this tube, but without the whole extension on it. And so I'm getting it exchanged to a button, which should make it, I'm hoping, easier on me, since it'll be less weight hanging on the outside. So she said she was gonna order that, and then as soon as it came in, which just should be a few days, and they would call to schedule it. So I waited almost 2 weeks again, because, you know, life in the way. And I talked to the scheduling woman, and she was like, well, we had a problem with getting your tube. you know, and we can't get it. And I'm like, you know, so do I have to go back to like a peg tube, or like what's the deal? And it was weird. It was like the first message that I already knew we couldn't get an AMT wasn't in the system, and so there was like somebody else that came down that had to tell me about it, and I'm like, yeah, I already knew I couldn't have that one. And I was like, you guys were just supposed to order a regular Mickey for me, and then we could have it exchanged. And just to let you know, I think it's absolutely fine to lie to people, and especially to me when it comes to this kind of stuff, when it affects my confidence level. So the guy that I was talking to, he absolutely should have been like, no problem, you know, we got your tube in this morning, and you know, we are regular to schedule, you know, ready to schedule it. Let me get you over to the scheduling chick. And instead he was like, oh yeah, we totally have your tube in stock all the time, so we didn't even have to order it, which means I waited another 2 weeks on top of the original 2 weeks that I waited. And I had my tube the whole time, like literally the whole time. Oh my gosh, yeah, great. And so then I had to schedule it, and when I scheduled it, it was like a week and a half later. So I'm supposed to get it exchanged this coming Friday, but it's been clogged since Wednesday of last week. So it'll be, if I can't get it unclogged, it's gonna be a week and a half without it, which is not ideal by any means. So I have tried all the things, none of it worked. So I talked to my home, my infusion company, and so they sent me out a Clog Zapper, which I've never used before. So it lists what's in there, which is a 10 cc oral syringe with declogging powder, contains tree nuts. Coconut is what they say, so that's this one. And then they have a 10 cc oral syringe, and then a 12-inch applicator, which is that part. And then a gauze pad. I don't know why we need a gauze pad, but oh, my fingers hurt today. Okay. So I've never done one before, so we're gonna try it out, and you guys can watch the wonderful process. Okay. Let me get reset. Hold on. Okay, so we have the applicator, which is a teeny tiny little tube. Here's my tube and my cute tubey pad of the day. Okay, we have instructions and our gauze. No clue why we need gauze. Okay, so it has instructions on what you're supposed to do. We will follow the instructions. And we've got our Clog Zapper and this, and I also have a glass of water since I figured we would need it. Okay, number 1 says turn feeding pump off and close roller clamp on, blah, blah, blah. We already did that. What I am going to do is remove my valve to make this a little bit easier to deal with, hopefully. Okay. Let's see about putting this down. Hopefully you guys can see everything. Okay. Number 2, remove Y adapter cap. I already did that mostly. And insert Clog Zapper applicator tubing into feeding tube. Okay. Okay, so we are all the way in. It says not for IV use, which is funny. Guess I'm not gonna rip that off. Okay. If it's not possible to place the applicator all the way into the feeding tube, the distal end might be pressing against the clog. If this is the case, take out the applicator and trim the applicator tubing to the appropriate length. Do not try to break up the clog with the distal end of the applicator. This is really funny. Okay, remove syringe cap and fill the Clog Zapper syringe to 10 ml mark with water. Okay, remove syringe cap and get it all over yourself, apparently. That wasn't in the instructions. Okay, remove the cap, we did that. So put it in here and fill it up. Okay, remove syringe cap, fill it up 10 mils, replace syringe cap, and shake vigorously for 3 to 5 minutes. That's a long time. All right, y'all get to watch this in fast forward. You can still see some of it in there, so I'm going to keep shaking. I can still see a little bit of the powder that it hasn't dissolved yet. So I'm going to keep shaking it up. Okay, take 2. My card totally filled up, so I had to get all of the data out of it and then format my card. So we shall try again. Okay. In. We are in. Okay. Everything is dissolved now. Okay. So it says we hook this into here, and it's just a push, not a twist lock. And then it says gently fill tube with recommended dosage of 2 to 5 milliliters of Clog Zapper solution. Okay. That's 1 ml. That's 2. And of course, all of my stuff is coming out the top here. 3 mils. 4 mils. 5 mils. So that's a half syringe. Okay. Now it says remove this. And we're gonna cap it because it said I can do another dose. And it says remove applicator from tube. I did that. And this. And it says keep solution in tubing for 60 minutes, 30 minutes minimum. So I will be back in an hour. Okay, it has been an hour. So the next step, it says flush with specifically 6 milliliters of water, which is a whole lot of nothing. And they want you to use this one, but that doesn't fit on my big tubadoo. So I'm gonna have to use my regular one. Fingers crossed. Okay. Oh, I still want this to work. Okay, let's put you down here. What's a virus stoke? Okay. It feels like it might work. It's working. It's working. Super slow, so the kinked tube, I'm sure, has something to do with it, but it worked. Oh my gosh. Clog Zapper to the rescue. That's awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna put my valve back in place here. You come down here again. Oh my goodness. So I am gonna continue flushing it for a little bit before I hook feeds back up. Last thing I need is for it to totally clog again. Oh my gosh, it worked. Super happy. Okay, thumbs up for Clog Zappers. I'm so glad you guys got to come on my little adventure with me. Okay, give me a like, subscribe below, more to come. Bye.